We were immigrants, and that's why I was able to relate to you. And because we were immigrants, same story I think with a lot of us. We stayed with family, and my brother was able to graduate from college. We upgraded it a little bit. We went to rent, and then with help of our families, we were able to purchase our first family home. And then we all lived there together for a few years. And then we were able to grow our families, and then it was time for us to separate. So we were thinking, and the only idea back then, the different mindset we had was, let's sell the house, and then everybody takes their part, and then we go our separate ways. And I love the house so much that I thought there has to be another way. I do not want to sell this house. I want to keep this house. And that's when I started doing research, and that's when some failures came along the way. But I finally heard you and Liz speak in a podcast. And I resonated with everything that you said, your story, and the way that you would speak about numbers. And I said to myself, that is what we need. And then I presented it to my family and said, this is what we have to do. We have to short-term rent. And they did not want to. They were against it. So I had to go through convincing them, and you helped me with that because you told me, make a video, do the analysis that we went through in the course, and let me see it. And I sent it to you, and there was only one house at that moment. It was making a lot of money. And you gave me the confidence, and you said, it looks good, go for it. So I convinced my entire family that Michael Chang told me that this is gonna be good, and it was good. So now we launched in September, and we have been grossing 15 to 17,000 every month. The only month that was slow was January, but
which is the slowest month according to all the data too. So.
But I was able to get a commercial thing going on, and I tripled the price because you also told me to do that. So that helped them.
Did it work?
Yes, of course. They said yes with no problem, and then later I was thinking, oh my God, more, more, but now I know. And now that jump that we made has changed the entire trajectory of our family and the way that we're thinking about business. My brother has his construction company. My husband is in loans. So it's a tribe effort. It's a family effort.
It's great to hear. And it's funny, it's the house that puts everyone together in the beginning. And for me, I'm a little bit like, I just remember those days where we all lived together in that one living room when we first moved to the US. And how difficult it was. We were two boys and parents, and how important that first house is together because it gives you some stability, and you don't want to sell it. We've had that. We've had our home, our family home, 30 years, and my parents are every penny from the couch to save for the down payment of that house, and it's important. I don't want to sell that house. And it's great that this is a story to tell. The short-term rentals helped you keep the family in the house, and it's a way better way of accumulating capital. You didn't have to pay the broker fee, you didn't pay the taxes, right? And you get to just continue to compound that value of the house. So if you're doing 15, so let's talk numbers real quick. So you're doing 15 to 17K a month.
Yeah.
What's the mortgage?
30,780.
Okay, the 30.
Yeah.
I love the precise.
Yes, of course.
And it just brought what are the monthly. Besides cleaning, what are the monthly?
So for utilities, it's usually averages $1,000. In the summer, it can be $1,200 because of electricity, but usually it's around $1,000 if we get an average of all the months, including winter and summer. So usually,
So what are you cash flowing from that?
We're cash flowing around $6,000-7,000 per month. So to cash flow in New York, it's crazy. And now even my brother, we're part of a friend's chat, and he literally said, my sister's making us so much money, whatever she says, that's what we'll do. And I was like, oh my gosh. For that to come from my brother, because I have so much admiration for him, it was really amazing. It's just the testament of how the mindset has changed, and he's doing his own thing. He's trying to also get into real estate. It's just the entire family, but you, literally, you don't understand how changed the trajectory of our family by having that conversation with us, by helping me make the video, by helping me not be so afraid. Because we had all the reasons to be afraid. In other markets, you have so many homes to go by, so many numbers to be like, okay, yes, this is gonna work. But we didn't have that. And I'm sure that if it wasn't because of you, maybe I wasn't to convince my family. I said, oh my God, he was a banker, he knows the numbers. They were like, okay, so then let's do it.
It's like walking through how did you actually convince them? Because now you're like the matriarch of the family, I think it's big, and I have a brother too, it would be big my brother said in the family group chat, oh, listen to Michael. I'm sure it's very kind of gratifying feeling, but How did you actually convince them to, maybe just walk us through that a little bit, like how did you actually convince them to do it?
So remember in the course we have how to do the analysis,
Yeah.
and I did it to show you. So
Remember the
what
loom?
the loom, what I did to show you, that's what I showed them.
Okay.
And then when you responded, I said, he said this, so we need to do it. And then I also showed them the house right next to us, that how much it was making, the only house at that moment, how much it was making. And I told them, well, Lee says that if we improve the design, if we provide more things, that we make it look a little bit more luxurious, we can make more than the competition. And when they saw how much that house was also making RDNA, because the access that we have, that's when they were sold. They were like, you know what, let's do it.
That's great. And for me, it's like the combination of me and Liz, my wife. We have different strengths. Like I'm very analytical with the numbers, and she's great in the design. And when we designed the course, it was really the culmination of the 6 years of work that we did together. And where was I strong? I was very focused on making sure that was in the videos, and it was easy to explain step by step, because I know there's so much data out there, but like, how do you actually make sense of all, but in a less complex way that you can explain to your family, you can explain to other people that aren't as deep, right? They go, okay, I get, this house is next to mine, it does this number, our house is this, it's similar size. If we just did X, Y, and Z, it can generate $15,000, $17,000. You never told me this actually. It's very gratifying hearing. And maybe let's talk a little bit about that mindset change. Now with this confidence, like how has your mindset changed on yourself and how you approach life in general? Like, we talked about the investing part, but has it changed the way that you approach other problems in your life?
Yes, absolutely. I remember that when I was in the 9 to 5, I feel like I reached the ceiling, and I reached the ceiling in my career, and I didn't feel inspired anymore at some point, right?
Okay.
I knew what I was doing, and it was so repetitive every day, every single day, and sometimes that led to not feel that I was and I was reaching my full potential.
Yeah.
And here, every day is something new. And as much as you know how to do things, there's new things that are presented to you every day. There's new challenges, and it excites me so much. Like sometimes I feel like I have palpitations, and like in another story it will be scary, right? Like you have palpitations, something is going on. And I absolutely love it. And I am constantly like listening to your podcast. I'm listening to other podcasts. I'm trying to learn. And I'm in constant learning mode, which was missing from my life. And yesterday also, when we're listening in the conferences, they were saying, oh, portfolio save marriages. And I was totally aligned with that, because I know that at some point with my husband, even, we were at a point that, okay, what can we do to make things better? We have not done anything different in our marriage, but the fact that we're so inspired by your story, we're so inspired by, we also can do this, has transformed the energy in our marriage. And we're talking, we were saying, Rafael, have you done anything different? He's no. I'm like, am I doing something different? He's no. But we're so inspired by the learning mode and the learning things that we're doing, and the things that we're applying, that we're changing our lives, that our marriage is better than even when we were teenagers. It's crazy.
How long have you been together?
10, 12 years.
10 years?
Yeah, a long time. Yeah, so it's everything, the real estate trajectory that has changed everything without us doing anything in our marriage.
It's because you both are more open now to, I think, maybe listening to each other, because when you're doing something new, I think you have to have a very much open mindset, and that opens up other areas in your life where if Liz told me like something, maybe like now when she tells me something, I'm like, I'll listen. Okay, like I don't know this, right? Because I don't know a lot of, because as you're going through the real estate process, like a lot of things I didn't know and I had to relearn. And it's like now, other things in life, you're just much more open, and I think you're a little less, like, you know, in the 9 to 5, tell us your 9 to 5 actually again.
I am in healthcare administration. Right now, what do I do? Population health. So population does is that we try to come up with programs to help the surrounding communities around the hospitals.
Okay.
Every non-for-profit hospital has to reinvest back to its community. Okay. So that's what I do.
Okay, got it. It's a very important job to support the local communities, but I feel like when you're working, you're just trying to do the necessary, maybe not the minimum, but the necessary job, but you're not giving it your all, because fundamentally it's not your business. And when it's your business, you're just so much more motivated to learn everything and solve the problems, and that transfers to other parts of your life where, you know, if you have you're problem solving with your spouse, business problems, you learn how to communicate better, you learn how to communicate on a different level, you have successes together. Hey, we did this together. And it's outside of just like raising kids or just the relationship between the two people or raising kids or something with the house. It's something different. And I feel like with me and Liz now, we started to, we had kids before we were married and had kids. And now that we have two very young kids, it's a lot of problem solving, but you can communicate with each other. And I feel like it's that different type of communication that you've honed over time through the problem solving together that really helps a marriage survive just the ups and downs of any relationship.
Absolutely. And I think going back to the corporate world, right? I really enjoyed like what we do in population health, but what we do and the purpose of what we do gets overshadowed by the culture of the corporate world, of certain things that have to be done in certain ways and not necessarily what I signed up for. And it's completely different when you're doing your own thing, right? Like you will have the culture that you want and the culture that will give you that satisfaction and that happiness, and you know that you're doing things for a certain reason. And I love that. I love that control of doing those things.
Yeah, it's your company. You do things your way. We're talking about it here at the conference, just how open people are and the energy. Like, maybe talk about that. I've gone to a ton of finance conferences. I'm sure you've gone to healthcare conferences. Seeing the other entrepreneurs like run their business, how has that maybe changed your mindset over the last couple of days?
It has changed that I can be myself. In the corporate world, there's so many limitations with so many of the things that you can say, so many things that you can do. You cannot say these, you cannot do that, you cannot write these, there's so many things that you cannot say, right? But here, all the people that I've met, they're authentic. They are themselves, and it gives me like the freedom that yes, like here I can be myself. Sometimes I speak too much. I tend to speak a lot and tell our story of my entire tribe. That's what I call them. But I can do. I was in the branding workshop yesterday, and they were saying that emotion has a lot to do with it. And now I know that I can be myself, and I can tell my story and how it has impacted like I said again, the whole trajectory of our family and the way that we think.
Where are you from? Where are you from originally?
I'm from Ecuador.
Ecuador. And then when did you move to the US?
I came in 2007, so I was 15 and a half. My older brother was 17 and a half, and my younger brother was 9 years old.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
And then, are they all in the real estate? Do you guys all work together? Like, tell us about how the tribe is structured.
Yes.
I know everyone has their own business, but you guys all work together.
Yes. So my sister-in-law, my younger brother, and I have a cousin that helps us a lot with design, do the management of the properties that we have right now, which one we own, another we co-host, and the future properties. My older brother with my father have a construction company, and my husband is a mortgage originator, so for the loans. So moving forward, that's the system that we're going to use, right? So my brother is going to flip the houses, not to sell them, but to keep them. We are going to manage them. My husband is going to do the loans, and that is the system that we're trying to work.
That's great. You capture value within the family, and it's just, you obviously have the layer of trust and everything, and it just makes everything much more easier. In fact, you're going to be faster and more efficient. Your costs going to be a lot lower than the competition too.
Correct.
So you have these superpowers. I think that's where like working together as a family, not everyone is blessed with a good family, but I think that's where people don't have that because they don't have the successes. And I think like where if you have some initial successes together, and then everyone's, oh wow. And it's usually one person has to lead too. If you can lead and convince everyone of the path and show the data and have those successes early on, I'm sure everyone was like, maybe in the beginning, it's like, we believe it, right? But when you get the first month, or after the first month, after the second month, when like 15, 25, 30K comes in, oh wow, okay, we really believe this.
Yes.
Like there's nothing like when the checks hit, when the ACH transfers hit the bank and everyone sees it's like, it's indisputable and it's fast. It's not like a flip, for example, where you have to wait a year or at least 6 months, if not a year, to like go through the entire process. A lot of capital tied up to something where like you get started like in a month. If you are fast enough, you can get those results like right away, and you can just see if it's working or not. And I still think it's early enough now where maybe let's pivot a little bit back to when you first started. Like, what was the knowledge base and how did the program help you continue to, how did the program help you continue to, how do I frame this? How did the program help you besides the number? Was there anything else besides the numbers that the program helped you with? Maybe talk about like the structure or something.
Yes. So the structure, absolutely. I've seen and I always follow a lot of people and I do a lot of
You invested in a course before too.
Yes, I invested in a course before. And there was so much talking in the courses, right? Talking, but there was no calls to action. There was no really structure of, okay, this is what you have to do. You do this, and that is what I needed. And with the course, that is what we got, right? If you go to the course, you're like, okay, step 1, you do this. Step 2, you do this. Once you do this, and you do that. Once you do that, then you do that. It's so easy to follow.
That's how I think.
I have it in my mind, right? It's so easy to follow.
Yeah.
Anyone can do it, right? If you follow the process, that is the process. You have an A, B, C, D. There's no reason for you to listen to a video of someone just talking and trying to write notes and seeing, okay, which one is step 1? Because that's the first course that we did. Which one is step 1? Which one is step 2? Okay, and be lost in just the words that they're saying. But with you, it's step 1, then you go to B, and then you go to C, and then you go to D, and there's no confusion.
Did the slides, because every single video, there's probably like 70 videos that are like now 8 hours long, because I keep adding to the course too. Did the slides help orient the videos?
Yes, absolutely. And the breakdowns that you have in there, like for example, if you're gonna reach out to the buildings or the landlord, this is what you have to do, and then you move on to the next. And that, I think, especially with the previous course, that's what was lacking. There's just someone doing a lot of talking, but not really showing or not really saying, okay, you do A, B, C, D. Like you have to figure it out on your own.
Okay.
And to me, I can't work like that. I need to have specific, what is it that I have to do?
What gave you the confidence to actually invest in my course, right? Because I think most people, when they make a mistake, they stop, right? I'm sure you paid money for I think you paid more actually, money for the other course, and then it wasn't a good, we don't want to talk bad about our competitors, but it wasn't a good fit for you, maybe for other people, it's a better fit. But what gave you the confidence to probably convince your family too that, because it's something you guys all invest together, okay, we need to do this. This didn't work out, but there's still enough, but I still believe so strongly in this that let's admit that mistake and try this again because like this will work.
To me, and why I resonated with you, because I listen to so many podcasts, and I think in each episode there's someone speaking about their product that they offer, the services that they offer. But to me, your story was very strong, right? That we have a similar story, and to me is we're starting from zero. And you started from zero with your family. It's not something that was given to you. It's not something that you grow up with and then someone was like, okay, you should do this, right? You also went to college just like us. You went to work in the 9 to 5, and then you realized that there was so much more to life. And that sparked something in my mind, and I was like, okay, this is exactly what I'm trying to do, and this is exactly what I'm trying to accomplish, not just with myself, but with my entire tribe. And everyone is my husband's family, my mom's family, my dad's family, my sister-in-law's family. It's a tribe effort to be here, and just by listening to you, and like I said, that part that you started from zero and you were able to go all the way up, right? Because that is very strong to me. That creates an impact in my mind and in my heart, and I'm saying, if we can do this, we can also do it, right? So that's what allowed me to say, this is the person that I want to go with. And you have not disappointed. You are always active in the group and always responding questions and always giving all the answers, and people have access to you all the time. It's not a situation where you're like, okay, I'm just going to give you this for some time and then you're on your own. You're always there, accessible to us and willing to respond to any questions.
I appreciate that. For us, we want to build the community is the most important part for us. Again, we have a group of people that are we have all a similar mindset, and real estate investing, short-term rentals is a tool for us to achieve our different goals in life. But we found this really cool tool that can get us from our current place to where we all want to be, which is financial freedom, not working a job, having more time for family. And for me, I want to really nurture that, and which is why we're always participating in the Discord and making sure that people are moving forward. Because ultimately, your guys' success is my success, right? If you guys ultimately are not successful, this is not a successful business for me. And I'm very gratified. I'm very proud to hear. I'm very humbled, one, to hear that my story had this kind of impact on you. It's very humbling, actually. It was hard to talk about in the beginning. I remember fumbling to do it a lot in the beginning, like how much I really want to share, or like sharing just a little bit in the beginning. And I was like, that was really authentic. Like, that wasn't really the full thing, but I was embarrassed. Honestly, I was embarrassed because I had this fancy degree and this job, and then like, you know, the people didn't know my background. It was weird sharing, like, yeah, I came from actually, I was nothing. Like, we had the money coming here, but we were like definitely lower middle class. My parents worked in, my mom worked at a hotel, my dad worked at an airport, like, and it wasn't, it was a lot of like learning, but yeah, I just remember that, like, it was hard to share that, and it took months to be comfortable with myself and be like, look, this is my story, and whether it resonates with people or not, like, at least I'm gonna tell my story, and getting feedback from people that like where they identify. Because I think it's hard for, like, people don't talk that story because it's actually hard. I'm even choking up talking about it because I remember those days were like, they were difficult, and now it's like different, and that journey has just been.
Yeah, even there I resonate with you. I remember when I was a teenager, and we get into these cases. So my mom couldn't come with us, and it was only my father and my siblings and myself, so it was the four of us. Yeah. And my father, we used to work in a factory from 8 to 4, and then from 4 to like midnight, he would go and pick up like the bottles for recycling on the street to be able to put us through college. And at that point, when I was younger, I used to be so embarrassed of saying that or doing that, and he would take my younger brother too. And now I look back and I see that there's so many similar stories, and to see where we have come from and where we are now, it has helped me process and be so proud of it. My dad did so much to put us through college, and now we're here because of that. And I can resonate with you, and I'm sure that there's so many people out there, right, that we can do it. And find someone that is really interested in yourself. For example, you guys, we have met and we have had all the courses, right? But no one has really taken a personal interest in your students. And that's the difference for me. Even in the chat, how you're always there, how you're always present. That's what has changed our life.
It's really nice to hear. I remember those. I remember those days. But I think it makes you resilient. I think in business especially. It's not a straight line up. There's challenges along the way. Anyone tells you that everyone's is a straight line up this way is not telling you the full story. There's always challenges. There's still challenges. Different problems every single day. But I remember it's the resilience. I think you see the resilience in your parents. For me, it was my mom every day. 2 boys, not a lot of support. She wanted to save the 35 cents to the bus, and she walked to work, walked back. I remember all those days. They were tough.
They were really tough.
But it builds the resilience. Because now, like, you can. If I can beat that, this is nothing, and I can beat this.
And to know that you are showing so many people out there that it can be done to us, you're a true inspiration, right? We're nowhere near where we want to be, but we look up to you, and we know that with your guidance, now that we're in your circle, that we're gonna get there as a tribe. Like, I bring everyone with me. But it's those moments are, now I'm not ashamed anymore. I'm full of inspiration.
I'm proud of it, actually.
Wow, like my dad, and he was the other great thing about my dad. He will wake up like 4 or 5 in the morning to cook us breakfast before he went to work, and then he will get back from work, and then he will go pick up bottles until midnight, and he will do it again, and he will do it again, and he will do it again. And it's just, now I'm like, wow, what a strong man. What a powerful man.
I think it's like, as parents, I have 2 young kids now too, and the role model of your parents, the struggle, and that struggle that I don't think you like internalize it when you're a kid, because you don't really understand. But I think as you get older, especially when you have kids, you really understand, like, wow, that was really hard. And they didn't say anything. It was just like, every day, they're just like, oh, this is what you do every day. And I think that's helped. It's like the best teaching without saying, you just do. Okay, that's the example. That's what being a mom is. That's what being a parent is. And then you just go, and it's been really helpful. That builds that resilience in me, and it has in you. And I think that's where it doesn't matter where you started. It just matters like how that beginning has shaped you and how you apply that to your life. Because your life is an unwritten story, right? Just because your parents are where you came from, where you started is something, but the rest of your life, the rest of the chapter of your life is for you to write. And ultimately you have to take responsibility for that, right? If you are going to just be like a victim mentality and be like, yeah, I didn't have as much as this person's dad is or their family is this and that, and I'll never get there, then you will never get there. Because if that is your mindset, you will never get there. But if your mindset is like, great, they have a head start, but like, I'm just as good as that person and I'm going to run. How can I make it work? How, like, what part of me, like, I'm just as good if not better, and what part of me can do just as well as them and get there, right? And if you have that mindset, you will get there, right? You will get there. Like, everyone has a different destination, but you will get to that place that you want to be. But ultimately, like, you have to believe in yourself and have resilience in yourself that the struggles and challenges along the way, I can beat that. I've beat other things before, I can beat that. I can beat that. And we're gonna beat that.
Yes.
We're gonna beat that. We're gonna beat that. Like, yeah, it's like, oh, now the nice, dude, this is like a dream. Like, this is a dream. This is not. This is a lot of hard. This is a lot of hard work. This is a lot of hard work. It was a lot of hard work. It wasn't. Just, but now it's it's nice, and we can afford nice things for our kids, and it's very gratifying. Like for me, it's I have an Apple Watch, and I'm saying I like nice things too. But it's about the family, and it's about the family, the culture we can create in the family, and what we can provide for our kids. Not just the material things, but also just the thought, like the mindset, even at a very young age.
Yes.
Like the mindset. My 2-year-old daughter, when she was like 18, not 18, she was like 20 months when she could walk and had some like motor function. We would start with, before she had breakfast in the morning, I'd be like, you have to help unload the dishwasher. In the beginning, she couldn't do too much, right? But here's a fork, put the fork in, right? And then now she like unloads the dishwasher. But every morning, everyone contributes, right?
Yes.
In their own little way, everyone contributes and everyone has a task they have to do. And now for her, we want to plant that mindset early that you contribute to the home, we all contribute together. And yeah.
I have an excellent name for that because I do also a lot of learning about how to become a better parent. My parents are absolutely the best, but there's so many learning lessons from there as well. So I'm always in constant learning mode on how can I be a better parent to my children. And just simple things like, instead of calling them like chores or like tasks, I call them the morning contributions and the night contributions. So they feel empowered that they're contributing and they're part of this family. And even this has opened my mind to other things. So for example, Jaden, he's 10 years old and Victoria just turned 8. And before I went into the business route, I used to spend so much time with them after my 9 to 5, right? And I always will give them undivided attention. And now, because I am working my 9 to 5 and I am doing my business, I don't have much of that. But I said, how can I make it work that I'm still spending time with them, but I am working, right? So I came up with this idea. I'm gonna help them open their own business.
Yeah, great.
So now they're learning how to make soap, like non-toxic soap, and we're spending time together, but we're in working mode. So they're in their desk, or they are doing their tasks related. They're learning. They're watching a video on how to make soap, and I'm working. So we're spending time, quality time together.
Yeah, that's great.
But now they don't feel abandoned because going from spending so much time with you, right? I used to work a different schedule. I used to work 7 to 3. I was the morning manager, 7 to 3, and then the whole entire day I'll be with them. Now they don't have that, right? And I was like, how can I make them not resent me and resent the business, right? And resent my goals and resent me trying to pursue something higher. I was like, that's it. I'm gonna help them start their own business. So they're so excited. I've walked Jaden through the process of putting a business plan together, doing different things. We just bought the supplies. They're watching videos on how to learn these, and I'm like, that was it. So now he's reading books. He just finished reading Rich Dad Poor Dad. He doesn't want to go to school anymore. He wants to be homeschooled. He doesn't want to go to school anymore. He also read more books about also business. So he's like, Mama, because he was going to do a lemonade stand. Then he read another book. And he said, Mama, I actually don't want to do a lemonade stand. And I said, why, baby? I'm not going to be able to scale. That is a cheap product that people are going to buy once, and that's it. What about if I put a car washer? I'm like, okay, baby, we're maybe not at that level yet. But then we were brainstorming. And then I'm like, you know what? Why don't you make soap and then you sell me this soap to put in my properties as the amenities? So I'll be your first client.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's
like,
amazing.
Mommy, I love that. And I was like, Okay.
Dude, can we meet a second customer?
Yes, of course.
We will put them in the
Of
Tennessee
course.
cabins.
Yes,
That'd be
of
amazing,
course.
actually. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
That's amazing. Actually,
Yes,
yeah. I would love it. Actually.
Yes.
Let's do that.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's
do it. Hey, we'll give me a second customer. I love it. That's great.
Yes. So that's how we're tackling every part, the family part, because I also see that you're a very family-oriented man. So you don't understand all the aspects that your life, by you deciding to share your life, social media, and not just the business, but the family side, it impacts other people like us. And there's so many people out there. I'm sure I'm not the only one or the special one, right? But there's so many people out there that is impacted by everything that you do. And I know that social media is not always rainbow and flowers, but I guess it depends from whom, right? Like I try to be as authentic as I can be in social media, and all the things that I teach my children, I put it in there. But those are things that we actually do, right? And same with you. So I'm so excited with the business for him.
That's amazing. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, that's so cool. Yeah. I need a repeatable business.
Yes,
like, yeah.
That's what he said. He's like, Mommy, I'm not gonna be able to scale.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah.
And I was
Smart.
like, I have something for you to scale. We'll see how it
What are your goals for 2024?
Yeah, so 2024, we're really focused in the real estate aspect, that we really want to make it work in New York. And after all the ban in New York City, the idea came to my mind, how can we make it work in New York? So we are in the process of learning. We're learning arbitrage with you. We're learning co-hosting, and we're learning medium-term rentals of insurance relocations. Just because I am not in a vacation market in New York, I am more in the metro areas, we're going for a hybrid model. So we are, and it also depends on the house, right? And the house in the local market. So some houses will be best to prioritize medium-term rental and have short-term rental in the middle in between contracts. And others, like the Mount Vernon house that we have, and also with the advice of lease, we're gonna leave it as a short-term rental because it's been doing great.
That's doing great.
Yeah, and we don't even know how it works in the summer, which is the hottest. So we're gonna
And you just
leave
gonna
it.
do photos too.
Yes,
so,
new photos too. So we're gonna leave it as short-term rental because it's working as a short-term rental, and then we will see. But that's the main point. We are going to make it work in New York. So it's a hybrid model combination of medium-term rental for insurance relocations and short-term rentals in the middle.
It's the resilience part, right? It's, hey, I think a lot of people get scared off of, New York won't work for X, Y, and Z reason. You're like, no, New York will work because we're gonna learn different strategies and make this work. And maybe one strategy will cover 60% of it. The other, like, let's figure it out. And that's that resilience part. I love it. I'm so excited to have this conversation again in a year and see the progress that you've made so far. I'm sharing one of my favorite conversations. Yeah, this is great. Thank you. Thank you for sharing.
I appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate you as well.